different church through the years I've been in the city. And most of them been burned down as soon as they were torn off the wall. Let's build, these are excellent things. Yes, people who are thinking, the young people, I just love your vision. Because you make me think I'm young. And I appreciate your vision. I appreciate your vision because I'm learning from yours. But let's bring it all together for Portsmouth. We are the heartbeats.
Do you know what those young people think of us?
We old folks.
Right, not much.
But I'm going to tell you something. We are not old folks. I'm a young one. I'm just old in age.
One thing I think we also need to do is, let's say it's a gymnasium or a rec center or whatever, not only have the cost of the building, but have the fixed cost of the maintenance, the personnel, the operating costs. So when you build the building for $10 million, you're saying, look, this can cost us X a year. Then that way, it's no reason why we're fussing over maintenance or whatever of the building when you come forward. And plus, it lets the public know that, hey, this rec center costs us $8 million, and it's going to be $1 million a year. And with all upkeep, but one thing, nobody in this room wants to raise taxes. But to implement a lot of these things, I don't see how you're not going to raise taxes. You might be able to do the low barrier free, but until we get the waterfront developed, until we get the Craddock section done, the breeding piece, the new port for revenue, then you also just got to look at the other side of the picture too. The guy sat right here and said, our buildings, some of our apartment complexes were built in 1914. That stuff, you know, he's trying to sell right now, Victory Boulevard and George Washington Highway, the brick building on the right for $9 million. All right.
Everybody know where that is? The old,
Yes.
super
All right.
center.
That's not gonna happen. I mean, I'm not saying I wish it would, but it's not gonna happen. I mean, reality is that we have a lot of old structures, and they're gonna take a lot of knocking down, and that means we're gonna lose tax revenue. So we're gonna gain some, and we're gonna lose some. And I think going forward, we're gonna have to make sure we keep all that stuff in mind.
To your point, not if we collaborate with all of these different things in our city. A rec center, a park, any of those things are not going to do us any good if we don't sell all of our assets to our citizens and they understand it. Okay? I done spent the last month out in Hoffler Creek because there are folks out there who feel threatened because of Paradise Creek. And that should not happen. And our schools collaborating with our parks, doing the things Bill talked about with City Park. We've got a lot of assets here that we singularly promote things. We fund this group and then that group. If they don't get together and come up with something where we're having this park and this rec center in collaboration with that park and this part of us, and including this place. This place is underused. We're trying to market it, this thing. All of these things need to be pushed by our citizens. I had a function in here the other day, and some of them had never been here. Never been here. And they're all right here in Portsmouth.
They don't even know where it is.
They were like, by the way, some of them went over there to the golf course.
Man, I wouldn't like to.
And I'm talking collaboration. We have to connect these things. I think Elizabeth and I went out to Hoffler Creek, and we were talking to them, and they got the same story everybody else has. Budget, funding, how do we do this? Some of it doesn't take more money.
Right.
If you've already got existing funds going to the schools, you've already got existing funds going to some of these places, they have got to work together. We are not going to fund something in this building and in that building and in that. We don't have enough of that. We've got to be able to share those facilities, share those regions within our city. We've got to collaborate, and we've got to stop letting these organizations come and all of them got a mission statement and all of them trying to feed the hungry, all of them trying to do all of these things that are not happening.
Well, what we have to do first is...
So you got to collaborate. I mean, look at the churches we have here.
Right. Well, I mean...
250, right?
250 pieces.
250 churches and all of these civic leagues, you can't tell me if we didn't put a plan together, this city, working with our churches and our civic leagues, that we could resolve most of those human issues that we're talking about. Okay? We can do it tomorrow.
But what we have to do is, one thing, I follow what you're saying, but we have to go back and repair some of these items that the kids aren't going to Manor or Wilson High School and playing tennis over there because the courts are in such bad shape. We have facilities, and what does it cost to get them all back up to par? Let's say that's $6 million, you know? So we have to take a step back before we go forward on some of these items. I mean, this building right here, you probably would blow up $20,000, $30,000, you know, just, you know, but if we stop the first one, you know, the first little piece, it was $400. Now it's the whole ceiling, you know, I'm not beating this building up, I'm just giving an example because we're here. But that's what we
The
have to do.
collaboration piece, I think, John, I think is vital.
Well, we have to have a fixed cost. This should be under the cost. All right, we're giving this place so much money, right? And we're giving, I think, Andy to run it. But we have to say, all right, look, X dollars goes to maintenance. And we have to have, like somebody said, we got to go make sure somebody's doing what they're supposed to with the money. And that's how it should be with all of our facilities. I mean, we only can throw so much on this. I mean, Dennis.
He can take a lot of that.
Yeah, he took a lot yesterday. But, I mean, you know, John, you have a strong team. You're only as good as your team. I will tell you that. And we're only as good as y'all.
So how do you put that comprehensive plan together and break it down to the detail level that a citizen wants to see, but it rolls back up into the grand plan? And not all this pie in the sky, not all these tall buildings
It's
down.
realistic stuff.
Things that are realistic, that are achievable.
Everybody wants to have a couple of successes too.
Oh, yeah. Well, that feeds into the
Yeah.
herd.
And it's nice to say, I mean, I kind of go back to before your time too. When we did the 2005 plan, and we had citizens collaborating all over the city, and we said we were going to do this and this and this, and then we actually did it. And so you go, oh, good job, we did it.
But I also, you know, one thing that, you know, I don't want to lose focus. When we have new apartments and new housing and stuff like that, I know that's more people, more money. I'm not saying that we're not going to have new revenue streams. I mean, I look at all aspects. You know, that's what I do every morning. My mornings is getting up every morning. I'm going through banking accounts at 5:30. I talk to my brother at 6 and my day starts. But this isn't a private business like John was mentioning yesterday, but you know, you have to take you still have the same cost. And I think that courthouse, I mean, I can go in any city, man. Y'all got the best looking courthouse in the world.
It's Taj Mahal.
But how many people y'all gonna arrest? I mean, not arrest, but I mean, it's huge for our city, you know. But we don't never have to build another one ever if we maintain it, you know.
You know, Elizabeth, you just mentioned the 2010 plan. I think what made that successful was that we prioritized what we were going to do. There was a plan. There was a plan to implement that. But I think what made it successful was a report card was issued through the city, the various departments on, okay, this is what we said we're going to do, this is where we are, this is what we've accomplished, this is why this is running behind, and also this is why we're doing it. So, you know, some of these things require sacrifice. You can't be everything to everybody. And it's easy, I think, for a politician to say, yeah, no problem, we'll do that. You know, tax rate, we talked about, Lauren, everybody here loves to say, yeah, tax rate's too high. We all know it's too high. Okay, what do we got to do to get it down? And who's going to sacrifice? You're going to sacrifice services? What are you going to do? You know, it's easy to say, oh, we're going to bring in more business, and that's the light at the end of the tunnel. The Renaissance was the light at the end of the tunnel. Telos was the light at the end of the tunnel. Victory Village was the light at the end of the tunnel.
For that time.
But guess what?
Train.
It's a train.
Right.
Our tax rate is still high,
That's
even though we
right.
have those things. So I think we'd be disingenuous if we tell people, you know, we get our tax rate down to 95 cents or $1. I mean, you got to level with people that in a city where over 50% of our property is off the tax rolls, realistically, that's probably not going to happen. Not to maintain the level of services that people have come to expect.
But you keep getting back to, hold on, you keep getting back to benchmarking, and that is critical. Case in point, we agreed on a resolution before I got on this council. We was gonna stamp out homelessness in 10 years. I went and looked in the record, because I'm always talking about homeless brothers and sisters, going to all these organizations, and I have not seen one measured thing that we've done, and we're getting very close to that 10-year mark. Why would we go and all vote and create a resolution and say we're going to do something and don't follow through on it? I mean, we got these organizations that are out there working. Golden opportunity for us to tie church and community and action and do something about that homeless piece instead of having the chief run them from one area of town, chase them somewhere else. We're moving these folks around, and everywhere they go, they're upsetting someone. And I look at that resolution that we did, and it must have been about 6 years ago. So we've got about 4 more years on our 10-year plan to do that.
I just like to say, we all coming back to the same thing. You know those WH words? We've heard them all of our life. Who, what, when, why, and what. Put those words up and put your destination in terms of your timelines for reaching. You have your vision.
Yeah.
You have the plan and the map for what you want to do. Who's going to move it to get it done? What are you planning on doing? When are you getting started? Why are we doing it? To explain to the taxpayers. And where are we hoping to go as a result of doing it? You answer those questions.
Wow.
You got a whole map.
Just
And we
sums it
can
up.
do it.
And you're absolutely right, and that, because now we're devolving into talking ourselves out of what we thought we think we believe we could do. You know, I remember when tax rates were $1,034. We went to 124, it was 127. So it's not, we're not talking about impossibilities. We're talking about things that's going to take some measured action and some targeted action to do. So let's don't get around, walk around the table, and go around the fence and talk ourselves out. Like you said, speaking to the existence. So on the chart right there.
Move right
You know,
there.
as far as the homeless spots, you're right about the homeless, but I think there has been improvements made. I think we've come a long ways. We just need to go out and measure. You go talk to guys like who's running the social manager, he can tell you right now the people he's taken off he's put the work in how many he's taken off from homelessness.
Good job.
Right now, Roxanne can tell you off the top of her head right now how many they've taken to self-sufficiency. Right now, they can tell you. We just got to put those things in the same place. So let's go talk ourselves out of our successes and what we have done.
Yes.
And cloud the vision for where we're trying to go. Like you said, speaking positions, put some action behind it, Ms. Randall.
There you go.
I'm not going to sit here and talk me out of trying to get there. All right?
And add to her why. Why are we late in doing it? Not
Sure.
why we're doing it.
There we
Why?
go.
I just got on that good boy.
That's what
I mean, but you look, back on your homeless piece.
Now, that's a why for us.
What was it? 2 years ago, I think, on that homeless bus, I just count heads. We were sleeping about 85 to 95 a night. And last year, I must have, on 2 or 3 different occasions, counted somewhere in the 60 range. Nobody's given me any kind of real definite data, but I'm like, we've gone down about 20 or 30. What has caused that? As these programs that we're supporting, have they run off? Are Are there new folks?
They're going into housing.
And they don't, I mean, we got the SRO.
We got
I mean,
multi-street.
we just opened up another one in Chesapeake, not 3 weeks ago. You're right, those things are there, but we gotta collaborate, we gotta get the data, and we gotta let folks know this is why we're going.
That is a big
This chart right here, I mean, we get a black hat every day about has taxes, has this, has that, and realistically, to be behind Chesapeake and Virginia Beach on something, that's not really bad, you know, I mean,
$87?
yeah.
$87.
Yeah.
You
Look
know,
at Chesapeake.
and that's,
Let's name the things.
now, one other item. Now, I know everybody thinks I'm against schools, I'm not, all right, but if our schools were ranked the way Chesapeake's are, we wouldn't have enough room for the people. And that's realistic, I mean, that's real. We would not have enough room in this city. It'd be busting out, it seems like it was back in the 80s, back in the 70s, you know. If our education,
We don't want to go back that far.
I know, I'm just saying, with the number of our population,
I know.
we wouldn't, you know, and that's where we need to help the school
How do you
board.
do that? How do you do that?
I do not have.
You do, first, you are what you measure.
That's right.
So we need to start doing some measurement
Eggs
on
and
everything
eggs
that we do.
and potatoes and
We
potatoes.
need to make sure that we're hitting the outcomes that we want to get. We need, and Lavor's not been talking about this, we need to celebrate the good things that are happening in our school system. There needs to be a message constantly out there about the good things, the STEM program, star-based awareness.
That chart that Danny just held up that we saw yesterday,
Isn't that powerful?
you know, it's powerful, but is it going to go outside the realm of this room? Probably not, unless we, that deserves a
I'll
paid,
advertise.
that deserves a paid ad in the Currents.
Okay.
That's right.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
It is 10:25, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to say something you don't look that old. I've been doing this since 1971, and this is one of the best council discussions, and I really mean this, that I've ever participated in.
What are you running for?
What
What are you running for? I'm the mayor, you want my job?
I love it.
You're absolutely right. You're right.
It is very rich. I always want to say, let's take a break, but we need to take a break, because I don't want you to get fatigued. I want you to go get sugared up. Okay? So you can come back here and not only continue this conversation, but top the conversation. All right, let's take a 10-minute break. We'll challenge anybody to